to another kitchen adventure. Once again, we are grateful to see you. Thank you for stopping by. A request was made, and I'm always about fulfilling those types of desires when it comes to food. We live for that. Someone said to me, "Can you make shrimp tacos?" Yeah, of course we can. And I thought, all right, we're going to run to the store, we're going to get everything we need for these shrimp tacos. And then for multiple days, I toiled trying to figure out what kind of shrimp tacos. I mean, there's barbecue shrimp, shrimp scampi, grilled shrimp, fried shrimp, blackened shrimp, barbecue shrimp, shrimp and grits, grits with shrimp, just shrimp, Asian shrimp, barbecue shrimp. The point is, there are so many different ways that we could do the shrimp tacos. I honestly had to reach out to this person and say, listen, I'm spinning here. What kind of shrimp do you want? And we came up with this: hot and creamy. So today, we're going to be doing camarones de el diablo, the devil's shrimp. Devilish. It backslid. It was living a good life, and it went off, the beaten path. And we had a revival, and now it's back. But it's spicy, and we equate heat with the devil for some reason. But that show on net. Anyway, let's get into it. All right. So first thing up, just wanted to show you the shrimp. I went ahead and put my garlic in. It's been sitting in the refrigerator for about an hour or so. 2 good tablespoons of garlic in there, and there's a little flakes, those little red flakes. I took a dried habanero and chopped that up, so it's going to add that nice little heat. So the first thing we're going to start with is our slaw. I didn't want to have to buy a whole head of cabbage and carrots and all that jazz, so we're going to cheat. We're going to go with the convenience bag and just dress it up a little bit. But, feel free if you want to go through the work, the process of making your own slaw. Maybe you like yours cut a little thinner. Who knows? Alright, so the first thing that we're going to add, some nice fresh chopped cilantro. And I'm going to do just a quick rough chop on this. I always roll it just to make it all stick together. It's just easier to process that way. But I don't want to chop it down too thin. I want that to be a nice and leafy part of the coleslaw. Just a quick little chop. We really appreciate y'all's patience as I play around with these editing tools. Try to give you some variation. If you don't like it, you could always volunteer to do it. So the next step for our slaw is going to be the green onion. And this one we're going to cut it, not giant chunks, but not too thin either, because we don't want the green onion flavor to overpower the entire slaw mixture. Easy peasy. All right, so now we're going to add cucumber. And I know it sounds crazy, and there are several different ways that you can do this cucumber. Now, for this, I just diced it and threw it in there. Honestly, I probably should have taken it to a cheese grater and shredded it so it would really blend in really well with the slaw. The reason that we're adding the cucumber, for flavor as well, but also because it does have that cooling effect, right? Because remember, we're going to make this shrimp pretty spicy. It's already got habanero in it. That jalapeno that's been laying on the cutting board, we're going to chop that up, seeds and all, and throw that in there as well. So you're going to get a nice, low, slow heat that lingers in your mouth. And that coleslaw will help to cool that. That cucumber will have that cooling effect and help you to manage that heat a little bit. So I would say probably to go back, if I redid it, I would say to go back and shred it, take it to a cheese grater and shred it so that it really mixes well and incorporates well. Chopping it down also works too, then you just have the chunks. But as I was eating them last night, I was like, yeah, I probably should have shredded these, but c'est la vie. And then our lime. So I roll the lime a little bit just to loosen it up, get those juices flowing inside. And the lime is all the dressing that you're going to need because remember, we're making a creamy shrimp taco. So we don't need a whole lot of liquid, but we do want that flavor. And the lime serves two purposes. One, it's just a delicious flavor to have with our shrimp taco, but it also, the acidity of it will help to cut down on some of the richness that is to come with the taco. So one whole lime, going to get all the juice out of that. And if you really want to add even more lime flavor, you can always zest that lime with a microplane or a cheese grater. The little bitty holes on it. That's what those are for getting the skin. It has all that flavor. So if you're somebody that can't handle a lot of acid or doesn't want a lot of acid, you can always just zest that lime to get the flavor. All right, so getting the rest of the stuff ready for our shrimp. I like to go with a red onion for this dish just because it has that nice, and I always say like a husky flavor. I know that doesn't really translate for those that have never had it if you've never had it, but it just has a nice, a little more earthy, not quite as sweet as the yellow onions that we typically use, and it really goes well with the shrimp. Remembering also that we do have the green onions in our slaw. So just a real quick dice on that, and I'm only going to use a half. That was a jumbo red onion, so I'm only using a half. You could probably get away with just doing one medium red onion. And like I said before, same thing with the jalapenos. We're going to give this just a quick dice, leaving the seeds and the pith, which is the white part there, right? That's where the heat lies in our peppers. We want to leave that in there because we are making the devil's shrimp. So it's got to be spicy. Keep those fingers tucked for my kiddos out there. If you want to keep them tucked. And then the next thing we're going to get on is our tomato. Now I like to use the Roma tomatoes. Really, honestly, it doesn't really matter, especially when you're eating them out of season. Flavor's not really going to be a factor in this. But we want our mommies and daddies to be proud of us for getting our veggies, and we want to get the lycopene out of that tomato for some healthy heart. So again, not dicing these too small because we don't want them to cook down to nothing. They're going to add a little bit of texture. I would say they're going to add flavor, but honestly, it's just going to be mixed into the melody that is the shrimp dish. You will definitely won't, be able to taste the tomato all on its own, but you're gonna know that it's in there, and that's all that matters. Now you can always keep these separate. I would absolutely cook with the jalapeno and the onion. Of course, if you want to leave the tomato out, if you have an allergy, then by all means, like I said, it's not detrimental to the dish. It won't hurt anything if you put it on the side. If you want to have it as a cold topping, we're going to actually take some and add some extra tomato at the end anyway. Just by getting those nutrients in there. All right, so we're done with that. Very short prep list. On to our shrimp, getting it done, right? So we're going to speed things along. So I got my electric skillet set at about 375. I just want a little bit of oil just to get things started smoothly. And the first thing that I'm going to go in with is my onion, right? Always with the onion, we want to build those flavors. So I'm going to get the onion in there. And we're just going to let it ride, right? I want to start to caramelize that. I want those natural sugars to start to burn a little bit. And you'll see as it goes on. Sorry about the camera. This one's a little wonky, but you can see where it's starting to brown there. So we're getting that nice, delicious flavor. I want to make a little space and let those continue to cook. And this is the part where you want to definitely cover up or open a window. At least let the people in the house know that you're throwing fresh peppers in on a hot pan. Or maybe you don't. And then you laugh as everyone rolls around the floor coughing because you've gassed the entire house. So I used to work at this place, and no, we're not gonna. I don't want to encourage kids. All right. So once the peppers have had a chance to cook a little bit, then we're gonna go in with the shrimp. Once I get the shrimp in, I kind of want to let it sit. Um, I don't want to start stirring it around too much because the same thing, right? For the shrimp that's on the bottom, I wanted to get a little char, a little color on it, right? And it's also steaming its way up. So I want to let it just kind of do its thing. Throwing the tomatoes in on top, and the reason that I put the tomatoes on top is so they don't begin to completely cook down and release all of their juices too quickly, and making the dish extra watery. So that's why I've put them on top, and we're gonna hit it with my seasoning here. So this is everything except the salt. So that's my oregano, my cumin, my chili powder, everything that's listed there, minus the salt. I want to do the salt last because I like to just work my way into it. You just never know how much you may or may not need. So remember, you can always add, but you can't take away. So after we let this shrimp ride for a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and get the stirring, stir it together, get all those seasonings mixed in well. As you can see, it's starting to get some color. So the shrimp at this point, for the most part, is about halfway cooked, right? Halfway. I don't want to cook the shrimp all the way because we still have to come in with our cream and we'll let it finish in the cream. But I do want to make sure that I get everything coated well in my spices and let some of that shrimp that was on top drop to the bottom and start to cook as well. And we're just going to let it kind of take its time. What I'm looking for is for almost all of the shrimp to be cooked halfway to 3/4, right? So not all the way pink or cooked orange, but definitely not all the way translucent. Just about there. Once I see that, forgive me, then we're going to turn the heat down just a little bit, and then we add our heavy cream. And we turn the heat down just so we don't want that heavy cream to hit the bottom of the pan and scorch and burn and give that nastily undelicious scorched flavor to the dish. But we also want it to be hot enough that it begins to simmer and reduce. By reduce, we're meaning basically let it evaporate and cook away, and it's going to thicken that cream up. All right, and then it's also helping us finish off our shrimp. Simmer, simmer. So we let it cook for a minute. I just went in with one little spoonful of butter. Okay, a spoonful and a quarter. Just to add some nice richness to it. I mean, we already added heavy cream. The butter is absolutely not necessary, but I mean, why not, right? Why not? And then the piece de resistance, we're going to add some cheese. And I'm just using a standard Colby and cheddar mix. Actually, this is a Colby and cheddar mix that has a little jalapeno in it, so even more spice. It's really not that spicy. They just put green food coloring, I think, in the bag. I don't know. Once we add our cheese, we want to make sure we're pretty much constantly stirring. We don't want to allow that cheese to drop to the bottom and just sit there because it will absolutely burn on you. And it would be such a waste of delicious shrimp to allow such a thing. So you can see from the strings pulling there, right? We got a nice cheesy sauce. Keep it moving. It's still reducing. We still have that heat on. I just want that sauce to thicken up a little bit. Nice and sexy. Boom. Shrimp is done. Now we plate. Now for this dish, typically when I do tacos in the house, we use corn tortillas. I would say 95% of the time. But for something like this, we're definitely going to use flour tortillas. One, because it's going to help me sop up. That's a southern word if you are unfamiliar. To sop. I guess that's a verb. So we definitely want to get that sauce, keep that sauce contained, right? I just find that the flour tortillas really help well with that. And why do I use the small 3-inch or the street taco tortillas? And I use those for any tacos that I'm making in the house. It's very simple. Portion control. This is how you keep those greedy folks from overindulging. Make them slow down a little bit. Groceries are expensive. So we got our shrimp in. We're going to hit it with that sexy slaw. We're going to throw on a little sliced avocado. Just a nice, delicious, fatty substance to add to that. And we've got some sliced limes on the side as well. And there's those extra tomatoes I spoke on. And that's it. I mean, again, it's delicious. It's easy. Like and subscribe if you want to see some more. Thank you guys for stopping by. See you.